The Indiana House passed a criminal records expungement bill earlier this week.
Now it's headed to the Senate. The House approved the bill that would allow some arrests and convictions to be expunged or erased after a waiting period. News 10's Patsy Kelly talked to people on both sides of the issue. She's in the studio tonight with more on tonight's top story. Patsy?
Currently has a sealing law that allows people to shield their public record if they have a misdemeanor or a Class D felony. But this bill would expand the law to include Class B and C felonies. Supporters of the bill say it's to help ex-offenders find work they couldn't before with their records. And they think some label offenders as bad guys when they're just people who've made bad decisions or mistakes. But here in Terre Haute, it's getting mixed reviews. Terre Haute Police Chief John Plassey is worried about what the specific guidelines are.
You know, all the property crimes we have, they're not violent crimes. And if you expunge that, somebody that would be locked up for breaking into our houses, under this proposal, they would have no record in 5 years after they did their time. So we couldn't do an habitual offender on someone like that and lock them up permanently so they can't get out and do that. They'd be back out on the streets able to do it again.
Now, there are limits. There's a waiting period of at least 5 years after a sentence is completed. Violent or sex crimes can't be expunged, which is why Judge Philip Adler thinks this bill is a good idea. Judge Adler has been a judge for 16 years. Before that, he was the Vigo County prosecutor for 10 years.
I mean, let's face it. What if you have someone who had a youthful indiscretion and they got arrested and convicted of public intoxication, a shoplifting, a minor drug possession offense? Should that person be saddled with that conviction, which might impede his or her ability to get a good job once they become much older?
They might be on opposite sides, but they're both trying to fight for justice.
And I think it also adds an incentive for those people who have been convicted of these low-level crimes to do well, to stay out of trouble.
No, I agree. You know, if they didn't do it for 5 years, that's a good step towards not committing it again. But I think maybe that should be expanded to maybe 10 years. Someone made a mistake, give that person another chance. I'm okay with that.
In Terre Haute with photojournalist Gina Glaros, Patsy Kelly, News 10.
Similar legislation has failed to pass in past sessions, but this time it is picking up a lot of support.